Welcome to Introverse.
While I'm thinking about it, Greg, my mom wants to hook you up with a girl she knows in Nashville.
Well, that's hilarious. Thank your mom. Thank your mom for thinking of me.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, Greg.
She followed me on Instagram.
Yeah, no
actually.
doubt.
I think.
No doubt.
Is it Coach Kim?
That's her.
Is that okay? Well, hello, Coach Kim. Thank you for following, and I appreciate the
Greg,
thoughts.
you must get this all the time, right? Because I got this all the time because I was single for a very long time. I was single until my mid to late 30s, and my family and my friends and my cousins and everybody was like, "Oh, we're gonna fix you up with I know somebody," and it was always like, "No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. You don't." You know, because I tried it. You know, I went out on a few of those dates, and it's almost never
awkward.
Exactly, because it's not
you're
not
trying
your
to
choice.
please you're trying to impress the person that set you up.
Exactly.
You're thinking more about them, like, oh, okay, because everything's going to get back to them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're going to ask you, and then they're going to ask them. How did it go?
It's spot on.
I did that once and said, nope, done with that.
The problem, you almost said it. Our friends, and I appreciate everyone who tries to set me up. But they rob me of the choice, of the discovery,
right.
of the everything, all the little pre-things that happen that gets you mentally from friend to potential.
Yeah,
right.
And I'm robbed of that.
Yeah.
When there's a setup, or when there's like especially in like a blind date situation.
Right.
I'll never do a blind date. I'll never, ever do that. So I always appreciate it. And to answer your question, I have gotten that over the years. My family's kind of given up, I think, on that. And
well, you got Coach Kim now looking for you.
My friends try to send people my way. The really smart ones know they have to make me think it was my idea. If they just send someone and I know it's a setup, I'll just be turned off.
Yeah, they need to really be sneaky about it.
I think the only way that this works, like these setups, is if the person who is doing the setting up is intimately friends with both parties. Like they know both parties so well. You know, and it could be,
and in that case, you probably know that person anyway.
That's possible.
Yes,
but you know them up to the point where it's like these people don't know each other, but I can see them together because they have all these things in common, or they, she doesn't like peanut butter. It's the whole gambit is there, and so I think because I know stories of people who were set up and it's worked out. Because they were super compatible, and whoever set them up was like,
well, there's whole countries that do it.
Well, there you go, and they live happily ever after.
Never a problem with those.
It's just who was assigned to me,
making it work.
Yep. We can work it out.
Sometimes you just grow together.
Yeah.
Just grow into it.
It's all a choice anyway.
I appreciate your mom and anyone else. I just don't have what are we going to do? Someone sets me up and then I meet them and then what? Like, well, I can't,
Yeah.
You want to come hang out with me and my roommate?
Right.
Or, hey, you're buying this week or this month.
Right.
Or whatever until I get things figured out. So I think the doors will open once everything.
Yeah. It'll come together.
If you build it, they will come.
I'm just curious, and this question is for you, Greg, and for you, B, and I'll answer it as well. Just when we were going through the process, Greg's still going through it. When we were going through the process of finding a partner, did we have a list of things like red flags? Like, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm not looking for. And how strict did you adhere to those standards? Like, okay, if If the girl has crazy eyes in one photo, I'm not even bothering with a message. If she's got crazy eyes in 3 photos,
I think today I know more clearly than I did in my past
yes, of course.
these red flags. How do they treat you? How do they treat other people?
That's a good one.
That's a dead giveaway, and you can fake it.
For a while.
Because when you're first dating and everyone's faking something.
Everyone's amazing when you're first dating.
You're holding your stomach in the whole night, chest out. You're trying to make good impressions, but eventually it comes out. How are you treating other people?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big one.
I think your question sounded like you're talking about apps or social media, finding people on social media.
Well, I assume that's how people meet nowadays. Primarily, I think is through social media, and that's how I did it when I was dating. I mean, it was all online first. And you can usually spot a lot of red flags there, and it's like, okay, there's a lot of photos from only specific angles, very close up face shots. They're trying to hide something.
Well, this is in general. So I left the apps a few months ago, just my final nail in the coffin of just giving up, I tell you. But yeah, when every photo is a close up of the face and you can't see anything at all, I feel like, well, what's going on? What are they hiding? What's the problem?
There's 6 kids.
Now this is just this is just physical. We're just talking just one aspect of a person, right. But that kind of lets you know, like, oh well, there's not a lot to tell. Oh yeah, and in the profiles, if they don't have much to say, then yeah, what, you don't have anything to say? You can't give me a blurb of anything?
What's worse than that is when they reach out to you and then have nothing to say. Hi.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, hey,
that was
how you
problem.
doing? How's your day going? What's up with you? Yeah. How's life? And they respond, good.
So B, one of the apps, Bumble.
Yeah, that's the one I'm referring to.
The woman has to make the first move.
It's the best.
And the first move is always so trash. This is horrible.
Yeah, no, it's a one-sided thing. I feel like because men, especially on dating apps, because it's so off balance in what the guy has to bring to the table and what the woman has to bring to the table. It's amazing that women can get away with just saying hi.
Yeah.
And they expect you to respond, whereas I had to write a freaking love poem. It's like
each one had to be original and call out things from their profile. And, you couldn't just say hi. She will never respond.
You have to craft it to where you looked at the pictures and read everything and etc. And then you're up against
a million
however many messages. Yeah. So I listened to another podcast, and the guy was saying it's like a 3-to-1 ratio men to women on dating apps.
I believe that.
And so yeah, it's brutal on the apps. But as far as red flags, I would say on the apps, just how the pictures are taken is the one thing. In person, I don't know. I've tried to be open-minded and not have like a checklist or shopping list mentality to dating. But I will say, and maybe this is superficial, but maybe it isn't. I really like women with long hair, and
that's okay. That's not superficial. That's a taste.
If they ever had a if I ever had a hairstyle that they currently have, then it's no for me. I'm not like a short hair. Yeah. It's hard for me to unsee it, unfortunately. And and it just depends. Like, I know some beautiful people that have had chemo and cancer or alopecia and all that stuff. So it all depends, but I get, it's just one of those things. I know that if that part isn't there, I'll always just be looking around
for longer hair.
We'll be out on we'll be on a date, and I'll be like, eyes will be wandering.
You're like,
and
wow,
so
her hair is
I understand
longer.
that about myself.
So is it?
Maybe this is a red flag for someone. For
Right,
some
maybe that's just it. Right.
listener. Sorry,
Some woman
Coach
out
Kim,
there is
but,
like,
yeah.
wow, this is a red flag for me because my hair is only
Yeah.
12 inches, and clearly Greg
well,
only likes women with 36-inch hair. So
I've never measured anyone's hair, but I just know. Whatever.
but here's the thing: what if you, and this is hypothetical, Greg? What if
Here we
you
go.
started dating a woman who had luscious locks, long hair, and then 6 months into the relationship, after you had both declared your love to each other, and you were even contemplating,
6 months.
yeah, you were contemplating proposing. You thought this is the one,
Madly in love.
like the sex is amazing, and you come home one day and she sends you a photo and she's like, hey, I just went to the salon and she convinced me to cut my hair. It's all the rage. And she's got one side of her head shaved. You know the style I'm talking about. One side is shaved and then she's cut 12 inches off of her hair. What happens?
Just on one side?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's
What
shaved.
kind of weird haircut are you describing?
Have you never seen this? You've never seen this hairstyle of the women who shave one side of their
I think
hair
I've seen.
and then they.
I think I can picture what you're talking about, but I just want to clarify.
Regardless, she's
because
cut the
way you're
luscious
describing it-
36-inch
How about this?
locks to
She's just
12.
cut it all off. She's got like a little pixie cut or whatever.
No,
they
she's got
call
your
it.
hairstyle now, Greg.
Yeah.
And mine, for that matter.
You
Do
know
you
what?
dump
It's
her?
this. Well, in the hypothetical situation, you said she was the one.
Yes.
Well, you're thinking so far.
Yeah.
Like this is it.
Okay. Well, then she clearly wasn't the one, and that's in this
Wow.
situation. It's kind of like, well, listen, it's case by case. It's all about how. Just I have to go case by case because how do they look or whatever. But why did they do it? It's kind of like when I okay, and this is 100% true. One of my friends was dating a woman, and I already kind of thought she was kind of crazy, and I hate throwing that word around, but
They exist.
I thought she was a little bit off. And then one day my friend told me, yeah, she adopted a stray cat and now she has a cat in the house.
Okay.
And I just thought, wow, that's that's kind of a life altering event.
Is it?
It kind of is. If you didn't have a cat before,
I mean, it depends on the
or
cat.
even if you had a cat, it's kind of like, wow, there's now there's
a cat
owner. It's kind of a life altering event. I don't like these sudden life altering event type things. So shaving your head and on a whim,
But
because the person, a salon person convincing the woman to shave her head, doesn't that like hurt her business? I don't know. I don't know. We're
okay.
This is hypothetical.
So we're talking hypothetical. How about this?
Hypothetical.
How about this?
Okay.
She's at your house.
Okay.
Y'all are sitting down, watching a movie, chewing some bubble gum,
This podcast can never air. by
chewing
the
some
way.
bubble gum, start making
This
out,
episode.
and the bubble gum gets stuck in her hair. But because you
Okay.
don't like peanut butter, you got nothing
I
to
don't
rub
like
it.
bubble gum either.
You got nothing to rub in the hair to pull the peanut butter out, so she has to cut it. Then what? Do you cut it and dump her? Sorry.
I mean, here's the thing.
I dump her first, and then I cut
Okay.
it. First of all, how did gum?
Well,
Are we making out with bubble gum?
Right.
I don't chew
You
bubble
can-
gum,
She might.
so we wouldn't even get to date one with
What if
her chewing
she's a
bubble
big bubblegum chewer, just smacking it
gum.
and popping it?
She wouldn't be here. She wouldn't be at my house
Okay.
chewing bubble
All right, well,
gum.
that answers that.
Do you know my sister? I love my sister almost as much as I love my mom. My sister just trained me out of people chewing and smacking and having gum, and I can't
Is she
do
a smacker?
I can't do chewing gum. I can't do it.
Is
I
it the
don't
smacking noise? The
It is a combination of the smacking noise, but
Yeah.
then also what happens when you chew gum? It loses its flavor, and then you just have a piece of rubber in your mouth for no reason.
Yeah.
It's just chewing gum. There's no point to
true.
chewing gum. Mints, Tic Tacs, Now and Laters, well, all that stuff. All that's very practical. It's candy.
Yeah.
It goes
But
away.
gum,
It dissolves.
you chew gum
What about
until
that
you
awkward
don't.
moment? Like you're
It's
chewing
like
gum.
peanut butter.
You know, you got the mint gum. You know, you're on a date, and then you go to dinner, and you have to do something with the gum.
You
Just
stick it
spit
under
it out
the
on your
table.
plate.
I don't chew gum. There are no dinner gums that I do. If it's a mint, if I see a little tray and there's a thing, it's like, oh, is this gum or is it a mint? If it's gum, I don't touch it. It's like trash. It's literally like putting a piece of a tire in your mouth and like playing with it in your mouth.
Yeah,
No,
actually,
no
that
for
would
it.
be a red flag for me. Is if I was on a date, hypothetically, with a woman, and she was chewing gum, and we were in a restaurant, nice restaurant, and she took it out of her mouth and stuck it under the table. That would be a red flag. That would be like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing? Because I have a method.
Yeah.
There's a napkin right there. You can take a little piece
The
of
cloth
napkin.
napkin?
Well, it depends how nice the restaurant is. But usually there's a little paper napkin under the drink. There's usually a little paper napkin under the drink.
Okay.
And you can take a little piece of that and sort of wrap your gum in there, and then just throw it in with the trash for the.
You know what
butter.
I've done?
It's trash.
I'll take the
trash.
Sweet and Low packet and put in the Sweet and Low
Oh,
packet.
nice! That's a nice move. I didn't think of that.
That's very
It's
cool.
pretty smooth.
Right. I hadn't thought about that because I'm not a serial gum chewer.
And then if you want to re-chew the gum later, it's covered in sugar now. So I mean, that's kind of a win-win.
Yeah.
That
Refreshes
just sounds incredibly horrible to me. I'm not a to any ladies that might be listening to this, there are deeper things to consider other than your hair length and if you chew gum
and peanut butter.
For the sake of peanut butter
is non-negotiable.
Eaters, we're not even, you need not apply. Okay. Yeah. But I hate that that's my legacy on this podcast.
That is your legacy. It was a great episode.
It is.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If someone cuts their hair, the hair will always grow back. And so I feel like when you find the one, she's going to be like, well, Greg really likes my luscious locks. And so I'm going to keep my luscious locks. Yeah, she's never going to cut it because she knows you love it.
I don't know how it will play out on that end, but it's just one of those things. I dated a woman with short hair for a while, and it was my longest relationship. And towards the end, it was like a Valentine's Day gift. She put extensions in her hair, and I didn't ask her to do this. I never said anything about her hair. I think, I don't know. I think I was remarking about her sister's hair or something, and blah, blah, blah. And she had kept that in her mind, and she like put extensions in her hair one day. It was like one day for like one date. And that was like a big deal. I was like, wow. But then she took the extensions out, and then it was just like,
you don't look like your sister anymore.
And I didn't. It was like, it was a very sweet gesture. And it was just like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was too bad. And I felt like such a bad person, but oh well. Yeah. But then we broke up, and she grew her hair out, and she looks lovely. So good for her. Just to get to me, I think.
Yeah, of course.
I was gonna say, was it out of spite? Like,
you grow my hair out of spite.
we
check out these locks, Greg.
Yeah,
wish you
they're real.
Wish you could run your fingers through this hair, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's very possible.
Wow. B, you had pretty much the one of the worst date stories in a previous episode about the girl who you were on a first date with, who was nonstop farting in the car. I'm assuming that is one of your red flags now.
Yeah. On a first date.
On a first date. But I'm curious, well, for me and B for sure, because we've been in relationships, longer relationships at this point in our lives. Greg has had a couple of lengthier relationships as well. I'm just curious where that threshold is. Is that considered a red flag? Farting too soon? What is the flatulence?
The first date is too soon.
The first date is for sure too soon.
If it was like she's laughing and it slips out.
Yes,
so that's okay.
It's unexpected. It's like it's like a little surprise.
Like, oh, oops. Yeah, but this was not that situation.
Right. But
I think farting in public like that, there's a way to do it and a way not to.
There is.
There's a way that is very considerate and very respectful. And I think that's what it is for me.
So what is your method in public? How do you go about? Do you sneak off to a corner? Is it do you wait till no one is within a certain circumference of you?
Sometimes you can't wait. Sometimes you can't sneak into a corner.
Exactly.
But I'm 45 years old. So I've farted many times in my life. There's a certain level of muscle control that
correct
you can develop if you want to.
If you want to, that's the key phrase there.
Right.
That's the key.
Right.
And I think
it's like playing an instrument. You have control over it.
Yes. I think if you get to a certain age and you don't know how to do this quietly, and again, case by case basis, but the way you do this in public tells me a lot about you.
That's true.
And if you and your attitude when it happens. Because accidents happen and things happen, but when an accident happens, it's like, well, it's a bodily function, so get over it. No, you get over being single the rest of your life, because I'm out of here. All right. I think there's a way to do this that is respectful to me and to the public, and et cetera, et cetera. Just be cool. If it's going to happen and you can't stop it, I need to know that you tried to stop it, or that you tried to let it just pass peacefully and not violently.
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's the problem. When there's only two people in the room and you let it sneak out quietly, but then it smells, that other person, that's easy. They know, the other person knows who did it, but when you're in a social environment, you can sneak it out, like go walk to the other side of the room, sneak it out, then leave, and then it's like, that guy over there did that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or you just walk around the room crop dusting the whole room, and then it's just everywhere.
The silent but deadly epidemic.
Right.
Yeah. Look, it happens, especially as I'm getting older. I find, because I remember when I would be walking around in a store with my dad when I was younger, and he would just let one rip
in the store,
and he would look at me and he's like I did something. He was like,
you
what?
did it.
And he's like, what's going on? And I'd be like, what was it? That was you? And he'd be like, oh, that wasn't me. And I'm like, what? But it was you. So I kind of have taken that tact, but I don't blame someone else. I just look around. Like if like something seeps out and I'm in an aisle at Walmart, I'm in the toiletries aisle looking at toothpaste, and there's a woman who walks down the aisle and something slips out, and I'm like, what was that? Like, you just act confused. Like where did that come from? And
blame it on your shoe. My shoe made a noise.
Yes.
It was the seat.
Look, it happens at work. Like sometimes I'm not expecting it, and something, I ate beans the night before. Something happens, and then I have a.
Can you be specific?
I have a tendency because I have my own office, but the door is open.
The specific story.
If something happens, and I'm like, "Wow, what was the decibel level of that? Did the person right outside my office hear that?"
How long ago had that happen?
This may have been a few weeks ago. I don't know. Okay. I'm not gonna point to a specific date. This may have happened multiple times. I'm not gonna cop to anything right 12th. Now. But the noise escapes. I wasn't expecting the noise to be that audible, and so I swear to God, I look around for something that I think might be able to reproduce a similar noise.
You grab the whoopee cushion sitting next to you.
Yes, I usually keep a whoopee cushion right on the side so I can reproduce. No, but like a zipper, like if you run your fingernail along a zipper, it'll make like a little zzz, like a. And I'm like, so then you confuse the
you
ears,
make a whole bunch of noises.
right? You make a whole bunch of noises, so they're like, did we just hear a fart? And they're like, oh
What's
no,
all that ruckus?
yeah, what's happening in
There's
that
no
office?
way there's a fart because there's all kinds of noises.
Yeah, all sorts of things are happening in there.
Yeah.
It's for certain he didn't do that. But I mean, look, it happens, So, but that is my play. I like to pretend like either the dog did it if I'm at my house, or I'll just look around like bewildered, like where did that noise come from? And most people get a kick out of it. So
Dog farts are the worst.
they are.
God. They all smell the same too.
Greg's talking about somebody adopting a stray cat, but dog farts.
Cats not so much. Dogs, oh God. You know what's bad? At the gym. These guys, they're all loaded up on protein, those protein farts. Oh God. It's horrible.
So we've switched from sound to smell.
Yeah.
The truth is, when I have to fart or pass gas, I don't make noise.
Ever?
And again, it's what I'm telling you. Not anymore, because I'm grown and I've learned how to control.
Wow.
He has full control of his anus.
The only time I make noise is if I'm trying to lift something heavy or push something, and I didn't know I had a fart in me or whatever, and it like comes out. Yeah. And at that point, you're not worried about what you did because you're in the middle of doing something.
Right. Yeah. Otherwise, it just has like a nice little sound.
I can't think of a sound. Yeah, if I know it's coming, I brace myself and I let it go. I release.
Greg's got it. Greg basically releases it at such a rate that it doesn't make a sound at all, but it is felt in the room.
Yeah. It's like his anus is just exhaling.
So, listen. Well, that's what I'm about to say. We're talking about the smell. I don't think biologically this is supposed to smell bad, like that particular gas.
It definitely matters what you're eating. Yeah, exactly.
It matters. It only matters because of what's in your intestines.
Absolutely.
If it's bad stuff inside, bad stuff's coming out. Yeah.
Yep.
You're right.
So it's like if you take care of yourself and you go to the bathroom and you don't store a bunch of stuff in your intestines, you're pretty much not gonna have smelly farts. Yeah. And I know the protein farts you're talking about. Yeah, that's a thing. But I think again, especially guys in the gym, like you need to learn how to control.
Yeah, sometimes I think they do it on purpose.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, look, it's a thing. It's a thing guys do. Yeah, if guys are just hanging around with guys.
Yeah,
that's
when it happens. When there's like a group of 3 or 4 of them working out together, that's when it happens. Right.
The same with belching. Like it's just the opposite end, I mean, guys will purposefully belch loudly to, count to 5.
Establish dominance.
Yeah. Count to 7.
Okay, let me clear this up. This was bothered me. What's worse? A burp or a fart? I say a fart is worse and more impolite than a burp.
Where are we at?
Anywhere.
Okay.
Home.
Anywhere.
In private.
Well, to Greg's point, if the fart is silent, I would say, and the burp is audible, I would say the burp is worse.
Okay, neither one of them silent.
Okay.
They're both just blasting away.
Then I say the fart is worse then.
Okay.
Blasting away like multiple, or we're talking about one singular?
It's like cannon fire. It's like
To me, the fart is worse because it should be inaudible. A burp that's a bodily function. A burp is an actual bodily function gone wrong.
But you can push out a burp to make it louder, just like you can push out a fart to make it louder. And you can suppress a burp, and
you
suck it in, like yeah.
I think a burp perhaps is that's what I'm trying to say. A burp is more inconsiderate, but because of the addition of smell, I think a fart is worse.
Right.
Even if you don't smell it, you're still breathing in what was inside their body.
But
Think
wait,
about that.
but I know something
Think
about
about
that.
that.
And actually, it's a benefit to the body. It's actually
What
a
kind of
positive
benefit?
thing. I'm telling you,
Just because you say something doesn't make it true.
I'm telling you, look it up. Farts are good for you. If you breathe in a fart,
Nope.
I mean,
Nope.
look,
Nope.
we don't have a plan that we do this or anything, but I'm just saying if it happens and I smell a fart, I'm not like, oh my God, this is going to kill me. I'm like, well, you know what? It is it's a benefit. It's actually a
What is the
positive
benefit?
thing. I read an article.
You've got poo particles going inside your
That's the
mouth.
problem.
No.
It's
I'm
the
not.
particles is different than the
Yeah.
gas.
The gas.
But
I'm
it's
talking
in
the poop
there. It's
particles is
mixed in
different than
the
the
there.
gas.
You're not
particles are
separating
trapped.
it.
The particles are
You're not
trapped in
separating
the
it.
wait. The particles are trapped in the underwear.
Not all
But
of
the
it.
gas.
How do you think you smell it?
The gas. It's because it's a gas.
Hold on. They're not completely trapped in the underwear.
Thank you.
Because that's what you're
Well,
smelling.
Thank you. That's what you're
mostly.
smelling. You're getting poo particles in your mouth. That's not net positive. Dude, I refuse.
That's why I think that's worse. But I think a burp is more involuntary than
poo
a
particles.
fart. But because of the particles.
I refuse to read books from the library. I refuse to read used books. My books have to be brand new. You know why? Because of the poo particles. People bring their books and read them in the bathroom.
That is true.
And it gets, those pages soak up the poo particles, and then they sell them on Amazon as a used book for 50 cents cheaper, and then you got poo particles on your fingers. Hi, Holly.
Hi.
Hey, Hollipop has just joined us here.
Right in time.
Just in time.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Brent.
Holly, it's nice to see you. I wonder do you have something to add to this conversation? Have you been listening?
It's muffled through the wall, so I haven't really heard. I've been trying to put my ear to the wall and hear, like I had the glass and everything, but I couldn't hear anything.
No, Holly told me that she had a burning question that she had to ask us. She listens to the podcast regularly and has guested, of course. But she has a burning question to ask and would like our wisdom.
My question is, like, what if you get into your marriage and then the red flags start popping up? Like, it's too late.
Been there, sister.
I can't relate. I can't relate to this one.
Or not necessarily a marriage, a relationship.
I'll let the married people.
It's like a
take this one.
relationship.
Well, it could be a relationship as well. I mean,
Relationship's easy. You just ditch them.
Yeah,
marriage is complicated.
It's not so easy if they have red flags, though. That's when your car gets keyed. You get the bunny in the pot.
Yeah, but you can get away from that situation.
Well, it happens with friendships as well. I mean,
it's true.
You can be friends with somebody for a while, and then all of a sudden they can either change because of whatever they get addicted to meth. Okay, well, I can't have a meth party with you. It's
being able to have healthy boundaries.
Yeah.
Which I've had a problem with. Just because of the way I was raised. But being able to set up healthy boundaries helps that.
Holly, in your friendships, are you the person that ends your friendships? Do you do the friendship breakup, or do you ghost?
Oh, goodness.
Or are you friends forever, no matter what, with your people?
I'm probably a ghoster because I get so busy. It's not that I purposely do it.
Intentional.
Yeah, it's not intentional. I just get so busy because I have my job, and then of course I have my music hobby, and then it's not that I don't want to be friends with people. It's just my friendships only work if they fit into what my life currently is.
So when someone has red flags, do you find ways to stay busy to keep from having them in your life? Is that would you say that's how you would cut someone out?
I kind of ignore messages because a lot of times, I've always craved a best girlfriend, but a lot of times I'll make friends with somebody and then I realize that I guess maybe I'm kind of like a man. I'm like, gosh, this girl's way too needy. The constantly messaging me, getting upset because I don't message her. And it's just like, it's not that I'm intentionally not messaging her. It's just that I am busy with my life and she can't accept that, So
I don't know how you don't accept that though. Like, I mean, everybody's busy. Like if I text Brent and he doesn't respond for like hours, I'm not
I
like
respond instantly to all your texts.
hypothetically, if he didn't
Brent probably
respond
responds faster to you than I do.
right
Probably.
after, I'm not ever going, well,
No.
what the hell's wrong with Brent? Like, screw him. I'm not going to be friends with him anymore. He hasn't. But then again, we've been friends for so long.
Yeah.
That's just how it is. Like sometimes we'll be on a roll and we'll communicate a lot, and then sometimes we'll go days without texting. Not now because we have a podcast, but yeah, and the same with Greg. If I send Greg a text or he sends me a text, I'm sure he's not like counting the seconds, like, why hasn't he responded to me, damn it. And if it's an important question and it's about a project or something and there's a deadline, that's different. Like that's but if we're just shooting the shit.
No, I've got nasty messages where I'd be at work all day and then I'd get home and then like there'd be like 30 texts. This one woman, I remember I met her online. We had a lot in common online. So I, was talking to her. I'm like, oh, I've got a friend, to talk to online. Then I got home from work and she had sent me like 30 messages and it kept getting more desperate and more desperate and more desperate. And I'm like, oh, I can't, I don't have room for that in my life. That's not my priority.
That's a red flag.
That's a huge red flag. Different dating as well. Like if you if you send a message and you get nothing for a while, or you send a message and you get an influx of like nonstop messaging, if you're not responding, and you're like paragraph long, why are you not? I'm getting a lawyer, and it's like
I'm just wondering why she wanted a lawyer.
Yeah,
What kind of red flags am I finding out about Roby right now?
If you only knew.
My biggest fear is that, as far as dating, I have a huge and perhaps irrational fear that women are like getting together and have like this Facebook group, and they're just talking about like me or any messages I've sent them or whatever. I know these groups exist. I just believe I would hate to find out that I was ever brought up in one of these groups.
I've dated Greg Freeman Facebook group.
I was just about to say that.
Can't handle it.
You just have to go into it just assuming everybody's talking about you. That's how I deal with life. I just assume everybody talks about me.
What you do, you got to make a fake Facebook account. And then you get in there like you've dated yourself. And you hype him up. Yeah, we dated a while and we broke up, but he's so fantastic. He's such a generous lover.
Talk yourself up. Yeah.
I don't think I could fake it.
I wish it had worked out with Greg.
Talk about a red flag. It's me impersonating myself.
Impersonating dating yourself.
To find out what people are saying.
Has to know.
I
went on as a woman looking at men's profiles, like looking at other women's profiles. I was checking out the competition when I was online dating.
So you have done that. Kind of.
I knew that happened. That was in the back of my mind. I knew that happened.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
You went. Hold on. You went as an incognito woman.
No, when I first signed up for I kept getting on and off the dating sites because I got tired of it. But I got back on one time and I accidentally put that I was a man because I was just wasn't paying attention. And then I was like, wait a second, this is kind of cool. I can see all the women around me and see like what the competition was. I didn't do it just specifically for that, but then it turned into that, and I'm like, oh, okay. But
did you strike up any conversations with women who thought you were a man? And
no.
Oh, okay.
You should do that and see what that's like.
Yeah,
I would like to hear like how hard of a time you had. Like, no one wants to talk to me.
I think I could get a date like that. With a woman.
Do it. That sounds fun. No, you can't do that. Poor girl. They'll fall in love with you, and you'll be like, sorry, we were just playing a game for a podcast.
Dustin's like, well, she's hot enough. She can join the party.
Right. Yeah.
What? You putting words in my mouth. I never said that.
I'm
striking
joking.
that
this
from
couple
the record.
that are luring women in.
He would get jealous of her right now. So.
This is like a Lifetime movie. Then
Actually,
you'll
it sounds
poison
like
her.
By the way,
you
Holly,
poison her slowly over the next 6 months. Her hair starts falling out.
Greg won't be interested in her.
Holly, by the way, you're not allowed to set me up. You're not allowed to set me up with anyone. That's the rule we established.
Well, the
before
choir
you jumped
teacher
on.
at our school is single.
You got look at this choir teacher. You got the church girl in Nashville. Did I mention the girl my mom wants to hook you about? She's in Nashville. She's in Nashville.
She lives right next door to you.
She's
actually.
right there.
Right. Well, here's the question. Here's a question that they're probably asking your mom, and your choir person is asking you, why are they single?
Yeah, that's always asked, right?
Well, here's the
thing.
Why are they? There's got to be something wrong with them. Well, hold on. I'm also single. Something wrong with me?
Wait. Is that one of the red flags? Because I was single for a long time, and I got to
Being
a certain
single?
age
That
where
was a red flag.
It gets a little weird, and women are asking the question, "Why is this guy still single?" Because Holly was like, I mean, in her words, "This is the most attractive man I've ever seen in my life."
I think she said, "Hot damn, he's sexy."
How could he possibly still be available?
I've got a degree in psychology, and I know about attachment disorders. And I know that if somebody, it basically is if they go to the age of 40 usually, and they never establish a long-term relationships, a lot of times they have an attachment disorder. So I was trying to discern whether or not you had an attachment disorder and whether or not you would break my heart and just push me away.
So
like is it because they sabotage themselves or the relationship? And
I think that's exactly what it is. They self-sabotage.
Yeah.
They push people away, assuming because they're so used to being rejected that they get uncomfortable when people get close.
Oh.
So
I didn't know you had a psychology degree.
That's what my bachelor's degree is in.
That's one of the reasons I married her.
I tricked him. I used my mind games.
Mind games,
No,
your Jedi mind trick.
I'm not saying that she manipulated me into marrying her. I'm saying that it was one of the many things that I was attracted to her knowledge, her vast wealth of knowledge. And I also thought that maybe she could help fix me because, I clearly have issues.
I have issues too, though. We all have issues. It's just what issues can you put up with? And you got to find
your
the person
issues
that'll put
line
up
up
with
with
your
their
issues.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. You got to
find. Greg, there's somebody out there for you.
That's how I believe you.
He just said he gave up. He got off all the dating sites, and
that's how I was with Dustin. I gave up. I gave up right before I met Dustin.
Yeah.
You were still on the app.
So if you give
that's
up,
when I was looking for a band, and
that's
Dustin.
when you find someone.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was one of those women.
So wait, so Greg just said he gave up, and then Miss Kim's got the perfect girl living right next door to him.
Well, she's not going to want to date him because he drinks.
Oh, that's right.
I didn't know Greg drank. You drink, Greg?
He's back on the wagon.
Oh.
Or he's off the wagon.
On, off, whatever
I
the
think
wagon.
she's got long hair, because I did hear that part.
Mm-hmm.
I think if she's got long hair, and I think if she doesn't like peanut butter, I think he'd stop drinking alcohol.
Oh, you got to put bubblegum on the list now.
Oh, he doesn't like bubblegum either?
Yeah.
Oh.
No bubblegum.
This list.
You're making it harder, Greg.
Look,
this whole podcast is actually.
This podcast
This actually.
needs to not.
We've had.
This can't be released.
We've had your mom contact us, and this has all been a ploy to slowly learn more about you.
The season finale will be Greg's wedding.
Yeah.
When we
what we should do is invite lady friends that we all have.
Oh, Lord.
And one at a time, have them get on the podcast and have Greg meet them.
See how they do. Yeah.
Greg,
See
I
how they do
apologize. This was not part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
Does my singleness make y'all uncomfortable?
Not at all.
Absolutely
no, it's
not.
actually fun.
Yeah.
It's fun because I remember what it was like being single. It was tough. But I mean, I learned a lot about myself being single because I spent years being married, but then I spent a while being single, and I learned a lot about myself. So you probably know yourself very well. So that's going to be a compliment to the woman that you meet, because she's going to be like, you know what? Out of his entire life, I'm the only one. That's why I feel so special with Dustin. I'm the one that has a relationship with him. She's going to find a relationship with you, and you wouldn't have been as close with somebody else. And I think that's something that women look for.
Now, the one downside to not getting into a serious relationship until later in life, and I say later in life, late 30s. I met Holly, what was
We
it?
were
We were
both
38?
37.
37.
Were we 37 or 38? Or that one, somewhere around there.
So long ago.
I know, right? We're old.
Time is passing
I mean,
by
we're old.
fast.
Holly isn't. She's a
I'm
spring
old.
chicken.
My son's wife is in labor as we speak. So
What? Oh!
yeah.
When you said you were on the phone with Will, I didn't think it was that, but I was. Well,
I'm
You
old.
didn't know?
no, I knew
Brody.
I knew it was happening soon, but no, I didn't realize it was happening now. Well, and it's recorded now,
Wow.
so the baby is on the way. All right,
Yeah.
awesome.
All right. Do they know what they're having? Boy, girl?
Girl.
Good.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I totally forgot what I was going to say.
Yeah. Thanks for derailing this podcast, baby.
That's the only reason you invited me on is to really everybody.
It's kind of a red flag when you let stuff like that slip out. It's just,
Yeah.
That's
For the whole
Greg.
world.
Greg sees red
You-
flags
you-
everywhere. Maybe he just
You need to control it.
No, I remember what I was going to say. She said the positive of meeting someone late in life. My issue was I was so set in my ways
still is.
of my life. Yeah, you know, this is how I like things to be. And like you said, that the girl who got the stray cat, that kind of was like a big life decision all of a sudden. Those are the types of things you kind of have to learn to just deal with, because they happen all the time when you're in a relationship with kids added into the mix, and shit happens all the time that you're not
Dustin's
expecting.
been a trooper, man. I am so blessed that he has not divorced me based on some of the crazy shit my kid has put us through.
Well, ditto, because I can be a ornery, introverted bummer of a person sometimes. If I get in I get in funks where I'm just like, I don't want to do anything, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't know if you guys this ever happens to you, but sometimes when I'm sitting and I'm thinking, my brain like projects like years into the future based on my current moment. And I just imagine having to deal with whatever the situation is, or the work issue, or I'm at work 8 hours every day. That's primarily a negative. And I got to do that for 20 more years. Like, fuck that. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, anybody else? No?
Well, I didn't before. But now I'm depressed.
I feel that way, but I get summers off and weekends off and holidays off. So
Yeah.
No, I don't think like that.
Yeah.
But that sucks.
Yeah.
That hits you.
I do a lot of thinking about where I'll be in a couple of years or whatever. You have like 5-10 year plans, but they're always, I don't know. I always see myself, I don't know, my vision board manifest type stuff. I always see myself in those scenarios, and never really in like, oh man, this is going to suck. And yeah, unfortunately, there are no women in those scenarios.
Any cats?
No, there's definitely no
Okay.
cats. We've never talked about this, I guess. The way y'all think I think about peanut butter, that's how I actually feel about cats. I'm not a cat guy. I'm not a cat person at all. I just, when I see, my opinion about people has changed sometimes when I find out they have a cat. I've tried to soften my stance, but I'm just not a cat guy.
I'm allergic, so it's easy for me.
Yeah.
I grew up around dogs, and so I'm more of a dog guy. I just don't own any pets.
Are you
right
mad
now.
at cats?
So, am I mad?
Did you have?
I'm pretty indifferent about cats.
Like they piss you
I'm pretty
off sometimes,
indifferent.
some way?
Well,
Like
But somehow I've not had an enjoyable experience.
okay, so did you have any bad experiences
I'll
with a cat?
save it for the cat.
Okay,
The
yeah,
cat
we'll
episode.
do
I'll
save it for the
do
cat
an
episode.
animal episode where we really dive deep into our favorites and phobias
Not a cat
of
guy.
animals there.
It's not a phobia, just a dislike.
Okay. So you see them as like miniature tigers. They're, because that's how I look at cats. Like I feel like dogs are just the friendliest animals. They love you unconditionally.
Like that. That's a
Yes.
dog to me.
And a cat is diabolical.
A cat thinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
The cat you have to be wary of.
Yeah.
You have to be on guard.
Dustin made me get rid of my cat before I moved in with him.
Wow, dude.
Huh? You saved that information.
Yeah. That's a
that would have been good
red
information.
flag. I'm gonna make you.
But I agreed with them because my cat
things.
was peeing
I
all
never
over the place.
made her get rid of the cat.
If you want to be with me, woman, I'm gonna make you do these things. You gotta get rid of your cat.
The cat had an issue where he urinated indoors. He did not use a litter box, and so he shit and pissed all over her house that she had.
Was it when you came along? Then it started pissing
no,
everywhere.
It was not
or
when I came along.
It was when we declawed it.
Yeah, it was an issue. They took the claws out, and the cat just was never the same. And I
wasn't having that. I'm gonna piss all over your house.
Well, she basically had to spend a lot of money to fix her house before she sold it.
Yeah, cat piss is like
it's acidic.
It's awful.
It was bad. And I just bought a house. It wasn't a new house, but I was like, I don't want that house getting destroyed by the cat. And she didn't want to leave it outside
because it didn't have the claws to defend itself.
Right. So it was
kind of
No, we found somebody that wanted it. She didn't care. She said, I don't care.
We took it out in the backyard, and
I don't care if it pees all over my stuff.
She would even send me pictures of them just laying around in her house. So
just laying around in a puddle of piss.
He was like a big giant Maine Coon cat. He was a beautiful cat.
He was, yes.
I do like cats, actually. But yeah, man, I'm just too allergic.
Greg can no longer be friends with you.
Women, if you're listening, it's me or the cat.
Oh.
It's just point blank period.
Yeah, he's serious too.
Me or the cat. Make a choice. Just your cat can be with you, or you could,
Yeah.
Some women would choose the cat. I believe that.
Oh, for sure.
And it's okay.
Oh, yes.
That's okay.
That's an easy.
Live your life.
Yeah, you do you.
They make their decisions based off of what the cat wants.
Yeah, that I believe that.
What about people with like multiple, like 4 or 5 cats, just getting out of hand?
I thought you meant my mom had an intervention though.
Yeah,
because I had a cat. I had a boy cat and a girl cat, and then I had like the girl cat spayed like when she was like 6 months old. I didn't think that she could get pregnant, but then all of a sudden, like her tummy started getting bigger, and then I'm like, oh, she's got worms, so I gave her worm medication, and everything, and then I'm like, oh, she's just getting fat, kittens. She kept getting bigger. And then one day we're just sitting there watching TV, and all of a sudden,
flop them out.
Charlie comes up to me, Mom, why are there hamsters coming out of Mitten's ass or butt?
Oh my God.
And
hamsters.
And they were kittens. But then I just grew so attached to these kittens. I didn't want them to go anywhere or do anything. And my mom said, you're going to have to get rid of these cats. It was like an intervention. She was like, so I ended up giving them away on Craigslist, I guess. So, back in the day.
Red flag.
I know Roby doesn't see the color red, I don't think. Luckily for me.
You overcame any red flags that I may have originally perceived because of your soul.
Aw.
Because
why are you talking like Mr. Anderson?
Because I'm choosing
Agent Smith.
Yeah.
I'm choosing my words very carefully.
His wife, he's very careful.
Look, I had whiskey. I'm just choosing my words carefully. That's all.
Oh, I forgot about the whiskey.
Yeah, it's gone now. It's in my stomach.
His face looks a little red.
It's the sunlight coming in through the window. Yeah, all of the red flag. Because look, I wasn't looking for someone with kids, and she had 2 kids. So in my mind, that was a red flag. Her personality won me over from the first date. That I just had to come to terms with some of the other issues that I was like, well, this wasn't part of my plan, but at some point you have to throw your plan out the window.
Sometimes the person you think is going to be the best person for you really isn't, because you need somebody that's going to counterbalance you. You don't want somebody that's just like you, that's
Yeah, because look, I love movies. She tolerates them.
I like movies. It's just I'm not obsessed with movies. I
She
don't know the
doesn't-
directors. I don't know the
Right,
producer.
right.
I don't know the second grip. I mean, I don't know that kind of stuff.
What's a grip? What's a key grip?
I don't know.
Those are the guys who.
Why are they so important?
Those are the guys
Like
who do
third
the,
on the list, just
do
like
the
director,
lighting.
producer, key grip.
The grip guys are usually involved in the lighting. That's part of the lighting crew.
Do they hold things like they have to grip on?
Yeah, how do
like
they
they
get
have
the name
really
grip?
strong wrists.
Maybe.
Greg, do you know you're in the film industry?
I thought a grip either holds the microphone or holds a light.
Yes.
Or something.
This guy.
They can.
That's-
They can.
Boom. There's
the
boom
boom grip.
operator.
Yeah, the boom
too.
operator would be
So-
for audio. Yeah, but the key grip is usually involving the lighting crew.
Sorry, I derailed that conversation.
No, that's totally fine. We were getting a little too Oprah.
Never go full Oprah.
You never go full Oprah in the podcast.
Holly can be our Dr. Phil.
Sometimes,
Bring
yeah.
her on.
Well, she
Depends
would
on
have
how
to be.
silly I feel.
Who's the female equivalent of Dr. Phil?
Phyllis.
Phyllis. Dr. Phyllis.
Dr. Phyllis.
No, I mean like in real life, like an actual female doctor who is like a public figure. I can't think of any.
Dr. Ruth.
Oh yeah, Doctor. Well, she's the sex doctor.
Is she really a doctor?
We're talking about someone who had a talk show. Like
Yeah,
a
I'm talking
doctor
about
had a
somebody
talk
who
show.
kind of had a personality, a public personality that was a doctor who was a woman.
I think Judge Judy
women
was
are
the
doctors.
closest
Judge Judy.
to
Judge
no
Judy.
disrespect to any doctors out there, but
Closest
her show
woman
her
doctor.
show had the most
Judge Judy.
had life lessons. Had
That's
about
right.
as many
It did.
life
Like,
lessons
don't-
as Dr. Phil's.
Yeah, don't give your neighbor $500 and expect them to pay you back.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
be clear and concise when you speak, and think about what you're saying before you speak. That's the main message of the lesson of Judge Judy, because she will call you out if you're trying to bullshit her.
You'll find a red flag.
Oh, she
Like
yeah.
that.
So I'm pretty sure when this episode drops, I will be single from that day forward.
Yeah. And this might have been
I'm okay with
counterproductive. This might have been counterproductive.
But one thing is
I've
it's like
made peace.
is most people are narcissistic and don't pay attention to other people's work and art. So
So what are you trying to
I
say?
think you're
That's a
absolutely
red flag.
No, you're absolutely right.
Hey, if you don't listen to this podcast, it's a red flag.
Yeah. I've known, just you think
Just-
because
we got
you
80
also have it
listeners.
in you,
It's one of those 80. gotta be.
you're worried about what other people think, right? But once you realize that everyone is only looking at their own little world, you live peaceful.
Yeah.
I know. I think that's what's giving
one's
me
looking
peace.
at you. No one cares.
But here's
They
the
all
thing,
care
though.
about themselves.
But here's the thing: there are people who are genuine, still, despite the cell phones, despite the chaos of the internet and world events and all the crap that's going on in
they're
today's.
Amish. The Amish are genuine.
Yes, there's plenty of Amish women that would love to date Greg.
Would that be a deal
And-
breaker, Greg, if she was Amish?
And
Would you
look,
date
they
an
don't
Amish
cut
woman?
their hair, Greg, so they've got long hair. They don't
They
have
probably don't chew
access to
gum.
peanut butter. No, they don't even have access to gum. I mean, if anything, it's natural, like taffy or something.
It's like sugar cane.
But
Yeah,
in Tennessee,
sure.
I think the
They chew
Mennonite
on a
community
stick of
is
sugarcane.
larger than the Amish.
Yeah, Mennonites. Okay, there we go. Have you tapped into that Mennonite community? I'm just saying, there's options out there. I feel like this podcast is actually going to do the opposite of what Greg thinks it's going to do. I think it's actually going to find him someone, because it's narrowing the field down. Like, this woman is out there and she's listening, and she's going to just be like, "This is it."
Because I'll tell you what people do like: honesty, and you're honest.
Yep.
transparency. It goes along with honesty and knowing who you are. You know, I think you're pretty good at knowing who you are.
Thank you all. I did try to date a Mennonite adjacent woman after college, but she chose another man. So shout out to her if she's listening. She actually came to one of the shows I opened for Mute Math.
Oh, wow.
She came out to the show with her husband. He was a magnificent guy. So
Was he
I
also?
hate it when
they're
like
Mennonite?
really great guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. It made sense. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That-
you
that
hate when
was-
there's
was
nothing to
supposed
hate
to-
about them.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was
Yeah.
supposed to happen. So
God, I kinda
it was
like
just
you.
Like, it's like, man, he's great. They had a
Yeah.
good time at the shows. All was like, oh well,
Yeah.
shoot. So shout out to y'all too if you're listening.
I hear we have
Please-
a large
please don't
Mennonite
listen.
following.
Please don't listen to this.
Holly, we appreciate you joining us.
No problem.
Yep.
I'm sorry
You're-
I wasn't too.
Your insightful question.
Yeah, I wasn't as insightful as I should have been. I'm sorry.
What was the question?
That's why it's more important to be famous than to find somebody.
Yeah.
I learned that a long
That's
time
Greg.
ago.
That's Greg's
That's
main
my
goal.
path.
Yes.
It's just to, it's like, if I can just figure this one thing out, it'll be a piece
I'd
of
rather
cake.
be rich than famous, though.
And ladies, that is not a red flag, by the way. He just has goals. You know,
I'm just an ambitious man.
that's it.
That's a green flag, is it not?
It is. It
It's a green
is.
flag.
It's a good thing.
Oh, good game. We did it,
Good
everybody.
game.
Good game, everyone.
All right.
Slap hand. Slap hand.
Hey, this is Greg from the Introverse podcast. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you listen to podcasts. We're also on Introverse Pod on social media. Thank you so much for listening.
What he said.
Yep. Nailed it.
Boom.